We live in an age of constant noise, where everyone is talking, yet almost no one is truly listening. The ancient Stoics understood that the most profound human interactions happen in absolute silence, through an ancient language of presence that modern science is only beginning to fully decode. Among all the silent indicators of mutual connection, there is one particular physical shift, one that occurs almost entirely in the hands, that reveals absolute trust, and yet most people walk right past it. If you miss these subtle cues of comfort, the opportunity for genuine connection quietly closes forever, leaving you wondering what went wrong. By the end of this journey, you will not only understand the hidden language of human receptivity, but you will learn to recognize the single most critical signal of sustained connection, the one that requires a rare level of Stoic presence to perceive. To navigate the world with clarity, a person must master what the Stoics called prosochê, the art of continuous, mindful attention. When we are consumed by our own internal monologues, anxious about what to say next or desperate to make a favorable impression, we become functionally blind to the reality unfolding right in front of us. This is especially true in our personal relationships. We search for certainty in words, forgetting that spoken language is a relatively recent human invention. Long before we had vocabulary, we had touch, posture, and movement. Research in behavioral science suggests that a person who feels a genuine sense of safety and attraction toward you will transmit multiple physical signals of comfort before we even consciously register this shift in dynamic. It is a quiet dialogue happening in real time. Yet, because we lack presence, we miss the opening chapters of the conversation. When someone is open to building a deeper connection with you, they will not declare it explicitly. Instead, they communicate through a subtle, nonverbal vocabulary. Let us examine the first of these patterns, one that is highly reliable yet routinely misunderstood. Imagine sitting across from someone in a quiet space. During a moment of shared laughter or a slight pause in conversation, their hand drifts upward, touching the hair near the side of their face or behind their ear. But pay close attention to what happens next. A casual adjustment of hair is quick and functional. However, when there is genuine emotional comfort and attraction, the movement changes. The hand does not simply drop back down. It descends slowly, tracing a path along the side of the face, lingering near the neck or the collarbone. This trailing motion is a profound evolutionary cue. Psychologists have observed that exposing the neck, one of the most vulnerable areas of the human body, is a primal signal of safety and trust. By drawing focus to this area, a person is subconscious. Dr. Monica Moore at Webster University spent thousands of hours observing social dynamics, documenting that this specific combination of a lingering hair touch and neck exposure is among the most consistent indicators of human comfort and attraction. When you notice this, understand that it is not merely nervous energy. It is a quiet gesture of trust. If you remain entirely analytical, ignoring this subtle shift in comfort, the other person may perceive your lack of response as emotional distance, and the window of connection will quietly close. But the silent dialogue runs much deeper, transferring itself onto the physical environment. Consider the phenomenon of tactile displacement. Picture a setting where direct physical contact is not yet socially appropriate or comfortable. The emotional tension is building, but it has nowhere to go. This is when the hands begin to speak through objects. Watch closely as someone traces the stem of a wine glass, slowly runs their fingers along the rim of a coffee cup, or gently adjusts the strap of their bag. This is tactile displacement. Behavioral studies indicate that these behaviors increase significantly. The physical impulse to connect is so strong that it is projected onto the nearest physical object. It is a safe proxy for a touch they cannot yet directly share. Most people mistake this for simple fidgeting or boredom. In reality, it is a sign of deep, focused presence. They are managing the internal tension of attraction. Understanding this allows you to see past the surface and recognize the quiet intensity of the moment. Have you ever caught yourself completely missing these moments because you were too busy planning your next sentence? It is a common trap. We prioritize performance over presence. But the moment we step out of our minds and into the present room, we begin to see that human connection is not a puzzle to solve. It is a reality to observe. This leads us to a major threshold in any interaction, the transition into actual physical touch. When a person intentionally initiates touch, even in the briefest manner, they are overriding the invisible boundary of personal space. Think of a light, spontaneous touch on your forearm during a shared laugh, or a gentle tap on your shoulder to emphasize a point. These are not accidental occurrences. Physical touch is the most direct way we test the emotional waters. When someone touches your arm, they are subconsciously assessing your response. Do you stiffen up and pull away, or do you remain relaxed and welcome the gesture? Your reaction tells them everything they need to know about your level of comfort. Research published in the Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin suggests that brief, respectful touch during an interaction significantly enhances feelings of mutual connection and warmth. It is a powerful validation of comfort. If someone reaches across that physical boundary and you fail to acknowledge it with a warm, relaxed presence, they may feel subtly rejected, causing the newly formed bond to cool. Beyond active touch, we must also look at the posture of the hands themselves. This brings us to a signal that is incredibly difficult to feign because it stems from our deepest evolutionary programming, the open palm display. During a meaningful conversation, observe the position of the other person's hands. Are they clenched, hidden beneath the table, or tucked away in pockets? Or are they resting openly on the table, palms facing upward, gesturing with an easy, fluid quality? Historically, showing open palms signified peace, safety, and the absence of any hidden threat. In modern social dynamics, it remains a powerful symbol of emotional vulnerability and transparency. When someone shows you their open palms, they are communicating on a subconscious level that they have nothing to hide. They are completely receptive to you. It is an authentic display of trust that bypasses conscious calculation, revealing a deep-seated comfort in your presence. If you have made it this far, you are beginning to look at human interaction with a level of clarity that most people never cultivate. But what comes next is the part where almost everyone falters, because it requires us to move past observation and embrace mutual vulnerability. This brings us to the subtle, electric space of the finger graze. Imagine reaching for a shared menu or passing a glass across the table, and your fingers briefly, deliberately brush against theirs. The hands contain some of the highest concentrations of sensory receptors in the human body. When this light contact occurs, it sends a powerful wave of awareness through both individuals, triggering a subtle release of bonding hormones like oxytocin. In these brief moments, many people panic. They pull their hand back quickly, as if they have touched something hazardous. This sudden retreat instantly breaks the quiet connection that was forming. A person grounded in stoic calmness does not flinch. They allow the contact to exist for a brief, natural moment. They do not rush to pull away. This steady, comfortable presence signals that you are not intimidated by intimacy, showing that you are fully grounded in the present moment. Closely related to this is another primal signal that is often completely overlooked, the exposure of the inner wrist. Like the neck, the inner wrist is a highly sensitive and vulnerable area of the body. Throughout evolutionary history, Protecting our vulnerable areas was a matter of survival. Therefore, when a person rests their chin on their hand with their inner wrists turned toward you, or leaves their arms relaxed on the table with their wrists exposed, they are offering an unconscious sign of safety. Behavioral researchers have noted a strong correlation between inner wrist exposure and deep interpersonal comfort. It is a physical manifestation of letting one's guard down. When you observe this, understand that you are being invited into a space of trust. It is a silent affirmation that your presence is calming and secure. To ignore these signs is to miss the subtle architecture of connection that is being built right in front of you. As the interaction progresses, a fascinating phenomenon often occurs: the mirrored touch. This is a beautiful expression of what the Stoics called sympathia, the mutual interdependence and harmony of all things. When you lean in, they lean in. When you take a sip of your drink, they do the same. And when you gently initiate a light touch, they mirror that touch back to you shortly after. For instance, if you respectfully brush their shoulder as you walk together, and they respond by leaning slightly into your space, or if they return a light touch to your arm later in the conversation, they are actively participating in the creation of rapport. Mirroring is the ultimate indicator of alignment. It proves that the other person is not merely tolerating your presence, they are actively matching your energy. By observing this pattern, you gain absolute clarity on the direction of the relationship. You are no longer guessing or projecting your own anxieties. You are simply reading the reality. This brings us to the eighth and most profound signal of all, the sustained hand placement. While a brief touch can be spontaneous or casual, sustained contact is a highly deliberate choice. It is the moment when the invisible barrier is completely dissolved. When someone places their hand on your arm, your chest, or your back, and leaves it there for more than a fleeting moment, they are making a clear statement. They are choosing to occupy your personal space, establishing a continuous physical bond. This sustained contact indicates that they trust your proximity completely and are ready to move past casual conversation into a much deeper level of emotional and personal connection. It is the ultimate invitation. But we must remember that all physical signals have a shelf life. They are invitations, not permanent open doors. A person will not continue to show vulnerability indefinitely if their signals are met with. They will test the waters, and if they receive no warmth or acknowledgement in return, they will quietly withdraw. The hands will go back to the lap. The body will angle away. The moment of connection will dissolve, not with a dramatic scene, but with a quiet shift in attention. The key to reading these signals is not to view them as a game of strategy, but as an opportunity to practice genuine, focused presence. By cultivating a calm, stoic awareness, you free yourself from the anxiety of overthinking and allow yourself to truly see the person in front of you. You learn to listen to the silence. If you found value in this exploration of human connection, please leave a comment saying, "I watched till the end," so I know who is truly dedicated to mastering this level of awareness. Subscribe to the channel to join our community of thoughtful minds, and remember to bring this calm presence into your interactions today. Observe the world clearly, respect the unspoken boundaries of others, and meet their trust with absolute sincerity. I will see you in our next reflection.